So first of all, let me introduce to you one of the most outstanding investigators in my business. I'm talking about Otto Penn. Otto Penn is a founding member of the Commission on Funny Names for Civil Rights. That's quite an important organization in today's current events news cycle. He is also the head of the National Water Seasoning Board. And just recently, he has finished a book that is not only a bestseller, but it's probably the bestseller ever. It's called Managing Crisis Dinners. If I could just go back here for a minute to, well, let's talk about crisis dinners first of all. I personally have been to a lot of dinners, formal and informal. I don't know which ones I would consider crisis dinners. What exactly are you talking about, Otto?
Well, boss, you know, I grew up in a mixed Italian, Irish, and Jewish neighborhood, and we were all relatively open with one another, but pretty much every dinner in the entire neighborhood was always a crisis. So what happened is, after years of therapy, I started to get my arms around it, and my therapist thought a way to deal with the trauma was to write a book about it. So that's what I've done. Unfortunately, I signed my licensing rights away to the therapist, but hey, that's the way it goes.
Well, I was highly entertained by the chapter on egg rolls. I guess I'm not the only one, because anyway, I have a thing about egg rolls. But you've been a member of the Commission on Funny Names for Civil Rights for some time. Some of these funny civil rights, like the right to bear arms, I don't think too many people are confused about that, are they?
Well, there is, again, because of my Irish background. You know, when I go to the beach, I generally cover my arms, and people misinterpret that as I don't have the right to bear arms. But I do have the right to bear arms.
When you're talking about bear arms, you're not talking about the other mammal, the Kodiaks and so forth.
No, not like our
bear arms.
Not those bear arms. I'm talking about bear, as in nudity. I'm a big proponent of going with the flow and being free.
Yeah.
So
now you also talk about the right to assemble peaceably, but I take it that what you're talking about is when, like Mr. Do-It-Yourself tries to assemble something, say from an IKEA or something, and is trying to do too many steps at once when he should be doing one? Is that the idea?
Yeah, that's the idea, boss. That's trying to do multiple IKEA steps at one time just inevitably leads to disaster. And you have to do them one at a time.
Let me ask you another. You say that another funny civil right is the right to purchase aftermarket auto parts at rock-bottom prices. Now, I don't think the framers of our Constitution really were conscious of aftermarket auto parts, were they?
Well, I mean, that is how they got to the airports in the Revolutionary War, is they drove their cars, so they had to have some concept of auto parts. So I mean, that's my premise anyway.
I see what you're saying. Now, your work in the National Water Seasoning Board. I, for example, just noticed at the grocery store the other day some tuna-flavored seasoning for water. Are you saying that most of our water without seasoning is just not as digestible, or?
It's pretty much unpalatable, I think, to me. So I mean, tuna is probably my well, maybe salmon may be my favorite flavor of water, but tuna is right up there. The problem with the tuna flavored water is, of course, the cats try and get into it, and that leads to a lot of which keeps me from bearing my arms because there's a lot of scratches on them. But
okay,
yes, seasoning's the way to go, boss.